comic relief. Not a year goes by where Richard Curtis doesn't call me up and go, "Oh, Ricky, Africa's still the poorest place on the planet. It's riddled with AIDS and famine. It's war-torn. Would you like to go there?" And no, it sounds fucking awful. You're really not selling it to me, Richard. Once he's called me and it wasn't about that. He offered me a part in The Vicar of Dibley. And I said, "Tell me about this Africa trip again." Oh, she started it. It's not a disease. When I first got famous, I knew that if I put myself in the office as opposed to just stayed behind the scenes, my life would change, but I wanted people to know it was an upshot of what I did. Fame wasn't the driving force, that the work was, and I didn't want to be lumped in with those celebrities that do anything to become famous. Do you know what I mean? And I was very prickly about the whole subject, and one of the first interviews I did after The Office broke in about 2001, the journalist really rubbed me up the wrong way with this question. She said, "So what advice would you give to anyone else who wants to become famous?" And I went, "I'd tell them to go out and kill a prostitute." Which I thought was a really clever answer. She looked at me like I was mental. And I didn't do this bit in Ipswich. A local paper called me from Ipswich, and she went, "Are you worried about offending people?" I went, "Well, yeah, because it's not the point of what I do." And she went, "No, but the joke's about the Ipswich murder." I went, "It's not a joke about the Ipswich murder. That's a true anecdote. I really said that to a journalist, and it happened 6 years before the Ipswich murders," which ruined her angle a little bit. And she actually went, "Oh, did you hear about the Ipswich murders, and that's what reminded you?" I went, "No. It's nothing to do with murder. It's a slight on fame." It's like going, "Well, if you just want to become famous, do something horrendous." That was, and I explained it to her, and she went, "Oh, well, thanks very much." So the next day, she went with the headline, "Ricky Gervais apologises for sick joke." I thought, what are the rules? I've explained it to her, and she does these vox pops and this whole sort of string of Chinese whispers. "Oh, that's racist. I'm so sorry about this. I don't know what's come over me." Suggesting that Chinese people can't whisper. Sorry about that. That would be a strange racial trait, wouldn't it? Bigots getting hold of that one, going, "The trouble with the Chinese is they can't fucking whisper." What? They can't whisper? Of course they can. They can't. The Chinese cannot whisper. Watch this. "Chang, whisper to me. Hello!" Oh, for fuck's sake. Shouting "hero" must be racist. Come on. On the same day, The Sun published a picture of Jade Goody with the caption, "Racist scum." They published a picture of that Chinese snooker player with the caption, "Pot noodle." But when the journalist said to me, "Oh, what advice would you give to become famous?" And I go, "I tend to go to prostitute," it's meaning, look, if you think that's all you care about, just being famous, you can do something terrible if that's the only aim. Serial killers want to become famous. The way it's going, where people do anything to be famous, I can imagine people at home now reading the paper going, "This rapist is getting a lot of column inches." Do you know what I mean? Where will it end? Have you seen those adverts on telly for rape? Not adverts for rape, not... Starts 10 a.m, everyone must go. No, it's... It's two blokes, and one of them's bragging. He's going, "Yeah, got off with a lovely bird the other night. We was kissing and cuddling. Then it got a bit more serious, and I shoved her down onto the sofa." And he morphs, and he's in court. And the voiceover goes, "If you don't get consent, you could go to prison for rape." What sort of society has to remind someone not to rape? Was there people going, "Just off out raping, mum"? Oh no, remember? Remember the advert? What? You can't rape. I can't what? You can't rape. I can't what? Whose idea was that campaign? Going, "We got to remind them." Was there people in court with the judge going, "Why did you rape her?" "I forgot." You'd forget your head if it wasn't screwed on. Get out of here, you scamp. Have you heard those local radio ads on a similar subject? It's a quiet street, sound of stiletto heels, and a car goes, and he goes, "Need a lift, darling." And the voiceover goes, "If you want to know the price of an illegal minicab, just ask a rape victim." don't. Worst advice I've ever had. No, it really winds them up because it brings back terrible memories. So I don't want you to make the same mistake I did. I just burst into an incident room and went, how much to Hounslow? And she went, whoo. So it's really irresponsible advertising. Like that one, hit me at 30 miles an hour and there's an 80% chance I'll live. Encouraging gambling. I like those odds, but don't. It's... Socrates said that fame is the perfume of heroic deeds. Fame is the perfume of heroic deeds. Well, it probably was back then. There was no Heat magazine and Big Brother. You actually had to do something to become famous. You were a great scholar or a leader of men. And all the way through history, that was the case. 500 years ago, the most famous man on the planet was Leonardo da Vinci because of all the great things he did. He was a painter. He was an inventor. Oh, go on, mate. Sorry. I can't do one-on-one. It's a big place. In a much smaller room, I'd still ignore you, cunt. Shush. Yeah, Leonardo da Vinci. It really annoys me when you hear these people go, you know Leonardo da Vinci? Yeah, he invented the helicopter. No. Yeah. 500 years ago he invented the helicopter. No, he didn't invent the helicopter. Doing a sketch of something and going, this'll fly, isn't inventing anything. I think back then he'd have folded under questioning, so I go, wow, how should it fly exactly? Sir Isaac Newton, most famous man in his day because of all the great things he did. The laws of motion, discoverer of gravity. I was talking to Carl Pilkington. Yeah, he's a different sort of genius to those. And we got onto science and stuff, and he was going, who's the best, who's this and that? And I said, well, I suppose Isaac Newton's generally considered the father of modern physics. And he went, what was so good about him? I went, wow, he did the laws of motion. I went, he discovered gravity. Carl went, what? I went, he discovered gravity. Carl went, it wasn't a problem. I went, what? He went, we weren't all floating about, were we? I've been an atheist since I was about 8 or 9, and when I went to secondary school, by then I knew about natural selection, the Big Bang Theory, carbon dating, and the Earth was 4 billion years old, and so my poor RE teacher, I was the bane of his life. And looking back, he was a bit thick, right? He was one of those teachers that I thought, oh, fuck it, I'll just keep my head down. You know what I mean? He came in on a motorbike and played table tennis all day with the div kids just to keep, you know what I mean? You know the sort, don't you? And he hated me. He hated me because I was smart and I wouldn't let him get away with any bollocks, right? So when he said things like, and God made the heaven and the earth in 6 days, and the earth is 5,000 years old. No, it isn't. No, it's 4 billion years old. Why? How could he do that? God can do anything. Well, why did he do it in 6? Why did he do it in 5? Let's push him a little bit. And he was saying that everything that happens, God does. He's done everything. Everything that happens, he means to happen. He's on top of it. He's everywhere. And everything he does is good. And I went, well, that's clearly not true either. Why are newborn babies taken from their parents? They're innocent. Why are some people born into abject poverty? And he went, because God moves in mysterious ways. That is the theological equivalent of going, look over there. Ooh. It's not an answer, is it? We swear on the Bible in a court of law, still. And if the judge was to say to you, how do you account for the fact you say you're home asleep at midnight, but we found your DNA at the scene of the crime, and you went, I move in mysterious ways, good night, it won't wash. This is how stupid this teacher was. A kid asked him, he said, sir, why do we swear on the Bible in a court of law? Clearly, the answer is, if you believe in God, if that's your God, you believe in him, you believe he's watching you, you get a guilt trip, you don't lie. He hadn't worked that out. So thinking on his feet, he said, because every law of the land is mentioned in the Bible. I went, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. He went, no, it is. Somewhere in the Bible, every law of this land is mentioned. I went, what, even video piracy, you fucking... One critic, who I know is religious, said, "Oh, Gervais deconstructs the Bible. That's too easy." I'm thinking, well, it shouldn't be. If you believe in that, you think it's a serious doctrine, it shouldn't be too easy to deconstruct. You can't do it with a maths book. You can't look through a book and go, listen to this. Listen to go, oh. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. What cunt wrote that? He said that God is everywhere and in everything. He's solidly through the universe. And I came prepared. I thought, this'll end it. I came in like a little smart ass and went, "Sir, is God in a vacuum which has been scientifically proved to have nothing in it?" He went, "Yep." That's it. I thought, well, I can't win then. So I started saying, "Is he up my arse? Is he up your arse?" The clever stuff hadn't worked. I was going, "Sir, is God up all our arses?" Including Richard Gere's. It must be crowded up there, mustn't it? The New Testament is founded on the belief that Jesus is half man, half God, born of a virgin womb. And I think that particular little rumour came about with Mary on the back foot. Awkward questions about the old pregnancy from Joseph. "You're pregnant?" "You haven't been..." "No way." Well, how could this have happened then? 2 ways. One, I know. Remember when I was washing in the Sea of Galilee and I splashed up some spunky water? No? Spunky water. What about the baby is half God? And everyone went, "Yeah, right." But everyone's entitled to their opinion. And if you believe in God, you're wrong. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. You never see that as much when you're famous. Everyone tells you their opinion. You don't ask, but they tell you anyway. And 99% of the time, it's all good. But a few weeks ago, I was writing with Steve Merchant, and we had a break for lunch, and we went to a sandwich shop just in central London. I got my sandwich. I was waiting outside the shop. Steve was still inside, haggling. Oh, Jesus. And I was pretending to be busy on the phone, texting and that, and people were walking past, and it was fine. They were just going, "Oh, it's bloke from the office. Oh, yeah." Going, "Oh, look, it's what's his name? Oh, yeah." You having a laugh? Except one bloke who went like this. I'm there. That. I was going, "Mate, this isn't the telly. I can see you as well. What are you doing?" And he decided to come over. But he wanted to let me know that he wasn't impressed with me just because I was off the telly. So he overcompensated. So he went from Mr. Magoo to this. All right, mate. All right. Sign that for us, will you, mate? Yeah. Who's it to? Stick it to Johnny, innit? Yeah. To Johnny, best wishes, Ricky Gervais. Cheers, he went. Cheers. Well done with extras. Cheers. Office was shit. I didn't ask. But he said one nice thing, one not so nice thing. That's life. And I don't know him, so I had no comeback. I said, "Oh, I like your shoes." "But your glasses make you look like a cunt." They did. They really did. And he was smaller than me. I've never asked for an autograph. I remember when I worked at the Students' Union, we got a royal visit from Princess Anne. And I knew what would happen, and I was totally right. Because I was one of the managers, I had to do the meet and greet with about 6 of us, 6 others. And she came in, and she went, "What's your name?" "Ricky Gervais." "What do you do?" "I'm the entertainment manager." "Oh, good." "What's your name?" "David." "What do you do?" "I'm the bars manager." "Oh, good." And down the line and out. And yet, on the day, all the women in the office were going, "Oh my God, you're going to meet the princess. Oh my God, what are you going to do? Oh God, what's going to happen?" What's the best they thought could happen? in that scenario. She's going to come in and go, what's your name? Ricky Gervais. What do you do? I'm the entertainment manager. Wow, this has been fucking brilliant. Do you want a castle? My dad was a labourer all his life, right? And in the mid-70s, about 1976, he worked on this big construction. It was building a headquarters for an American building firm that was coming over to England called Metal Box. And it was big news in the Reading and Berkshire area because it was going to give jobs to like 3,500 people. So it's to be opened by the Queen herself. And knowing this, they had site visits and they had to do all this stuff. And my dad was telling me they had to build a special standalone toilet, never to be used apart from the Queen's visit, which put an extra £10,000 on budget, which by today's standards is about £80,000. So the day comes, he goes to work, the visit happens, he comes home from work, I run up to him and I go, how did it go? And he went, she didn't even use it.